Harambe YouTube, it is Blurred and it is time for another action figure unboxing. Today we're going to be taking a look at Bradley Big Lob Sanders from the G.I. Joe Classified line. This right here is actually a very interesting piece I'm looking forward to getting into. At first I wasn't too interested because I don't have a lot of history with the character, but I saw a few of them online, and compared to regular G.I. Joes, it is substantially taller, which makes sense because he is a basketball character. And so it was, something that's going to be novel in my collection and really stand out. And it has some very cool one-of-a-kind accessories. So let's get into it. Now, the way I do these unboxings and that I rate these action figures, I use what I call my 3A system. I'm talking about appearance, articulation, and accessories. And we have a whole lot of accessories here in this, and yeah, you can already see that it is a rather substantial figure as far as height goes. And by the end of the video, we'll do a height comparison with other G.I. Joe classified figures so that we can get a gauge on that dynamic. Okay, so we have everything out of the packaging. Let's talk about Bradley Big Lob Sanders. So, starting with appearance, yeah, I really like the look of them. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am a big sucker for African American G.I. Joe characters. As a child, I loved Roadblock and Lonzo Stalker, something I could relate to. And the fact that, a lot of companies at the time, the African American characters all look the same. But when you're talking about the G.I. Joe Classified line, you know what Lonzo looks like, and he looks completely different than Roadblock. And this character is very individualistic himself. Heavy Duty, he is kind of Roadblock-esque, but even he is individualistic, so I'm a big fan of that. It kind of reminds me of Bazooka, the action figure that is based on a football player that has the leather football helmet and the jersey. And here on the back here, you can see that he's actually wearing a jersey number 14. On the back, you have his last name, Sanders. Presumably his jersey from his basketball days. You have the heather green pants. And then something I've only seen on one action figure. Instead of boots, we have G.I. Joe branded tennis shoes. The only other character I saw with tennis shoes was Jody Craig, aka Shooter, the sniper of the team. So that is very cool. I like that. You can actually see the white socks there. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle. Okay, yep, I'm already seeing an issue with articulation that we'll get to later, but still a big fan of the shoes. And so, for just being a novel piece, great detail. I love the belt here. It looks like we have a holster on the back for some kind of weapon, and then a hip holster, and then we have thigh holsters on either side of the sheath. I will give this appearance an A. Now let's talk about articulation. Head is on a ball joint with great range of motion. The arms have butterfly cutouts for extended range of motion, forward and backward. And the arms go all the way around, up and down inside of that butterfly cut. We have a bicep cut for left to right horizontal movement. Pinless double jointed elbows. And then the torso is on a rocker. And the hips, there is very limited movement on the hips. It is on a swivel. We have a ball jointed leg. Cut on the thigh for horizontal left to right movement. Pinless double jointed knees. And then we're getting to where, now right here is where I would usually expect a cut on the calf for horizontal movement at the calf, but we do not have that here. I don't know if it's because of the lack of a boot or what, but there is no additional articulation on the calf. But then the foot is on a ball joint with a great range of motion that actually moves right above the tennis shoe. So the tennis shoe is one piece. Take a look at that shoe detail. I love that. The brown tennis shoe with G.I. Joe branding. I really, really dig that kind of a Jordan-esque accoutrement there. And so for articulation, I will give it, despite the lack of a calf cut, I will give it an A. Because even with, I can understand why they left out the calf cut. Aesthetically, it would create another line that would be unnecessary. But that's really my only nitpick of it. And I don't know how that cut would affect an action figure of this height. Now let's talk about accessories. The one that stood out to me the absolute most was this right hand attachment. So let's take off the standard gun holding hand and put on this piece right here. It is a hand attached to a basketball. That is very cool. So you could do things like him going up for a dunk, about to throw a pass, whatever. Very cool piece. Only going to find it on this action figure. And then the other alternate hand is an open hand that I will likely not be. It's an open left hand. I guess you could use it in conjunction with this if you want to get him going one-on-one with an NBA action figure. And so that's pretty cool. You have novel hands that really do serve a purpose. And then we have a grenade right here, all black, that matches this belt here around his chest. And it looks like there's a holder on the back for this grenade, I think. That's what it's for. Yeah, that looks right. And then for a sidearm, some kind of automatic pistol. Goes in the left leg holster. And then it looks like we have some kind of big barreled weapon. Maybe a flare gun of sorts. That goes on the back holster. On the other side of the grenade belt. And then we have his big gun here. I don't know what this thing is, but it is a monster. It has a big barrel on it, huge magazine, a scope, a massive weapon for a massive G.I. Joe action figure. And then we have a big knife, silver blade, black handle. And so I'm a big fan of these accessories. I will give them an A+ because we just haven't had this with any other action figures. So let's get some other action figures in here and compare him. We have Roadblock, one of my childhood favorites, a rather substantial, bulky action figure. You can see you put him side to side. There is a slight height difference there. Let's see how he lines up with Sergeant Stalker. Oh yeah, he is considerably taller. He is. You get these guys back to back here. The top of Lonzo's head goes to his shoulders, and so you're really getting to see some big difference there. Let's see here. What do we have here? Let's get him up compared to the Marine Sniper. Yeah, there is no comparison here. he dwarfs the Marine Sniper. If you're wondering, yes, I always have G.I. Joes within arm's reach. Why else would I buy them? Who else do we? We'll do one more comparison. Let's check him out next to Beachhead. Again, even a little bit shorter than Sergeant Stalker. So yeah, this will be a piece that will definitely stand out for multiple reasons in your collection. The only downside that I saw was the lack of a calf cut, but that's just a nitpick. Overall, this is a great action figure. I'm so glad that I decided to get it. And you can get yours at Walmart.com, Amazon, and even straight directly from Hasbro Pulse. Check it out. Add this to your collection. I think this will be a piece that you don't want to miss for the novelty alone of not only the height, but the basketball accessory. The big gun is something I haven't seen with other action figures. The unique flare or grenade launcher. I guess, okay, yeah, it makes sense that this would be a grenade launcher. It's on a grenade belt. So yeah, that's another novelty accessory right there. And you have the G.I. Joe branded kicks. I wouldn't mind getting some of those to wear in real life. So anyway, you guys be easy. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to contribute to the growth of this channel, you can buy me a coffee using the QR code on the screen. But the most important thing to do is watch, like, and I will see you next time.